Welcome to today's webinar. We have the pleasure of having an individual who has led the pack globally in coach development, coach training, support for coaches, training for coaches. And Gerard O'Donovan joins us, who is the founder of Noble Manhattan. So how are you doing today, Gerard?
Well, good morning, Ken. I'm really well. And here in the south of England where we are, it's absolutely beautiful today.
Well, you're just around your supper hour, and I'm just finishing breakfast, so you have to love the international nature of coaching and training today. And I know that you really have expanded out, but Gerard, I think some people probably have not heard your story or your background. Noble Manhattan's been around for many, many years, and, getting closer to 25 plus years or so, or actually over 30 years now, isn't it? It's over 30 years, because 30 years...
That's right. We started at the beginning of the 90s, so coming up to the 25-year point.
Yeah, so that's amazing how quickly. But just tell us a little bit of your story, Gerard, how you got involved, and then we can get into Noble Manhattan and some of the other things that you're offering professionals all around the world.
Sure, I'd be delighted. I grew up in Southern Ireland. I'm Irish by birth, and my mother was Scottish. My father died when I was young, when I was 11. And we moved back to Scotland, and I finished my schooling in Scotland. And then I joined the forces. When I was 17, I left home, and I spent 9 years in the Royal Marines. And
Wow.
I came out of the Royal Marines, age 26, and I went into the insurance world. It was not planned. It was meant to be a 2 or 3 month thing just to earn some money before I joined the police force. But I loved it. I was blessed. I did quite well, and I developed a career in insurance. And I built a company, and I sold that company to a big insurance company many years later for a lot of money, an insurance company called Cornhill Insurance. And so having done that at the very beginning of the 90s, I then took stock of my life, and I thought, what do I really want to do? And although I was blessed and I did well in the insurance world, it didn't give me joy. It didn't give me any bliss. It was a business that I built, and I had no real love for it or affinity. But what I did love was, as I had built my company, and we had a few thousand people that we'd built around the United Kingdom, I loved working with people, helping them to build and grow and develop, and I thought, that's what I'll do. I'll set up my own personal development company. And I started just working from my bedroom. I converted a bedroom in my house to an office, and wrote a few small courses on presentation skills and confidence and goal achieving and beliefs, and just started to market those courses and deliver them. And I loved it, absolutely loved it. And just little bit by bit, the business grew, and I took on a secretary, and then we had to move out into an office in the town because the bedroom in our house wasn't big enough. And then another member of staff and then I came across coaching, and I absolutely fell in love with coaching. It was everything I wanted in the world of personal development. And Along as the years have gone by, I've done many different courses. My master's is in psychology, and I did courses in things like, you might have heard of Gestalt and transactional analysis and occupational therapy, yes. NLP, of course, and even some things called Delphin, Sedona, EFT, and I found all of those to be wonderful. Incredible sets of tools and techniques you can use to help another human being to grow. Mm-hmm. And then I came across coaching. I went to a seminar in London, and there was an American lady, Laura Berman Fortgang, a real feisty coach from New York. And she did a seminar, and I sat in, and I absolutely loved it. And I thought, this is what I want to do.
Now, not to get off track, Gerard, but I think there could be many people watching and listening to this webinar who are just getting into the industry. Mm. And I mean, I know that and we'll get into Noble Manhattan a little bit in a moment, but there are a lot of people considering the profession, they're thinking about it. What were some of the things that you could just encourage others who are thinking about this industry about the steps or considerations or thoughts that you went through to be able to kind of embrace this industry. Because many people think about it, but they don't take the steps to do it, or they take the steps and then they fail. So
Indeed.
what kind of advice or wisdom could you share with the group today on that?
Well, first of all, it is an industry unlike anything I had had experience of. I find it, and I still do today, over 20 years later, one of the most caring industries I have ever had the pleasure to be involved in. In many other industries out there, your competitors tend to be your competitors, and they don't give you an awful lot of help. I have been astounded time after time when people who are competitor coaches, competitor training organizations will stand with you shoulder to shoulder. They'll help you, they will guide you, they will look after you. It's an industry filled with, I would say, caring people. Really, not just coming from the head, but coming from the heart. So that I love, and I continue to love that. It's an industry which is dedicated to helping people grow. So if you are the type of individual that loves people, then you will get such satisfaction from this industry. It really is incredible. Now, having said that, you do need two different skill sets to do well. You need to be able to coach, of course, and learn how to be a good coach and go to a good school to do that. But you also need to learn how to build your business. We would call that either marketing techniques, selling techniques, or business building techniques. And you really need to engage in the process of learning that type of thing as well.
Sorry to interrupt, Gerard, but I think that's with both of our experiences that is one of the things that all coaches need to overcome is this hesitation around self-promotion.
Indeed.
And that if you're going to be busy and if you're going to be employed in this profession, you need to be able to promote yourself and not feel embarrassed by that.
Absolutely. And if you've come from something like a management consultancy background, then you probably don't have a problem. Many of those men and women are quite good at marketing themselves. However, most coaches come from a very, very caring, I would call gentle background. And by nature, they tend to be gentle people, very loving people. And as you rightly say, they're not hugely comfortable with pushing themselves forward. But the good news is that you can learn how to do it without too much difficulty, without taking yourself out of your comfort zone too much. But as long as you are aware that these are the two different skill sets you should learn to master, coaching and business building. And any good coaching school will provide both.
So you fell in love with professional development, personal development, and all the different pieces there, and then you got exposed to coaching. So what was the genesis of Noble Manhattan, and how did it come to be, and where was it, and then where has it gone to now?
Well, when we started, the company was called Noble Manhattan Personal Development Limited because we were doing a whole series of different types of trainings and courses. And then we came across coaching. And I just literally fell in love with it. And 2 years later, we changed the name. We changed it to Noble Manhattan Coaching Limited. And that is all we do now, Kane. We only do two things in life. We are specialists. Number one, we train men and women to be wonderful coaches. And then number two, having trained them, we look after them and take care of them and help them to build and grow in whatever niche within the coaching world they decide to grow in.
So how did you start it? I mean, here's the day, and you decided we're going to start a coaching training school. Tell us a bit of that story and that journey.
No. First of all, I just decided to train myself. So I went and I attended 3 different coach training schools. And back in the early 90s, there was nothing in the United Kingdom, so I trained with 3 American companies. I gave myself 1 year, and I just went at it very focused. And then I spent 3 years coaching, learning my technique, doing my apprenticeship, I guess you could call it, created some coaching models. And back then, of course, it was pioneering. People had no idea about coaching. and we had to educate people before you could even ask them to pay any money for this. So I spent 3 years in the mid-90s practicing, delivering hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of coaching. And then in 1999, we started to train our first coaches. And we've been blessed. You know, the universe has been so kind. We now trade in 27 countries. We've trained over 20,000 men and women to be executive coaches, life coaches, team coaches, and we deliver it in many different languages around the world.
That's an amazing journey. So when you think about Noble Manhattan, and people are listening to this or watching this, what would be the distinguishing factor? Why would they choose Noble Manhattan over another coaching school and all the other? There's so many options out there now. I agree with you, Gerard, is that what a difference from even 10 years ago about the acceptance of coaching, what coaching means, that it in many cases is foundational. But why would I choose Noble Manhattan? What is the unique offering that you have versus maybe other schools that are out there?
That's a great question. Now, I could give you all the technical facts and tell you about our courses and what people get, and we have 18 separate courses, everything from a one-day introduction up to a 2.5-year postgraduate. But that's not it. There are, to the best of our knowledge, 900 coach training companies in the world today, Ken. From China to South Africa, from Finland to San Francisco, you know. We believe we're in the top 4 in the world. But why would you choose us? Well, 2 reasons, really. Number 1, we care. We care so much. We care with a passion to help all of our students to build and to grow. And the second thing is, having trained these wonderful men and women, I shouldn't say this, but we're a bit like the mafia. It's a bit like joining the family. We never let people go, but in a nice way. And we provide, having trained them, we then provide them with a smorgasbord, with a buffet of other services that are there to help them to grow. And we have so many that we've developed over the years. Would it be okay to show 1 or 2 of them, Ken?
Sure, please do so.
Well, we have our main...
that's even one of the reasons we're talking together, is that we've partnered to be able to, you're open to the fact, I mean, you're an abundance thinker. And that's what I appreciate about you, Gerard, is rather than think about, yes, there's competition out there, but the fact is that we want to expand the pie, and there's more people doing coaching than ever before. But the standards in the world are quite varied, so you want to raise them, and that's why you partnered with us and CRG to have more resources. But show us, what are some of the things that you have there for us that can support your clients and your students and your coaches?
Thank you, Ken. The core business is Noble Manhattan Coaching, and we deliver that in 27 countries around the world in many different languages, and we have a core staff of just under 300 people who work with our organization. We call them our faculty, our trainers, our mentors, and so on. Then, having trained someone, we then support them. And we have many different divisions. One division is called our Coaching Support Division. And in our Coaching Support Division, we have groups. Dozens and dozens of different groups in all of these countries around the world where I'm showing the flags. And these groups meet. For example, I'm just clicking on Romania, and we have them in all of these cities in Romania. I'll just click on Bucharest. And in every one of these cities around the world, we have a leader who has been trained. With the leader, there is a team of officers, about usually 7 to 8 people, and they deliver a coaching support meeting, which is a once-a-month meeting. It lasts for 2 hours in the evening, from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. We have a lecture. It's completely free, by the way. There's no cost for this. We give it as part of our giving back. And in Warsaw, for example, we have 800 members come. In Bucharest, 150. So we have meetings taking place in over 50 cities around the world, one evening a month. We give lectures. People are in study buddy groups. They do practice coaching. and so on. So that's part of our worldwide support.
And those leaders are probably volunteers because they care about the group.
They are, and they've gone and we've put them through another enhanced training to teach them how to run those groups.
Well, I just want to interject, Gerard. That actually speaks to the culture that you have created. These people would not volunteer, they would not support, they would not do these groups unless they saw just the values that you exude. So, you know, good on you, and congratulations to really having and creating a culture of support, which not everybody is able to do.
Oh, thank you, my friend. Thank you very much. We then have a magazine that we launched literally 1 year ago last week. It's called International Coaching News. It's a magazine that comes out every 2 to 3 months. It's internet-based. And we are blessed, we're so thankful to say we're the largest coaching publication in the world. We have 24,000 subscribers in 21 countries. And this is a picture of the latest magazine that came out. And it's internet-based, and we can embed audio and video. And there's our managing director there, Leanne, based in South Africa. She runs that division. So, and we have something like 200 authors and writers that contribute to that. We have journalists and columnists. And it's a way that our coaches, having been trained, can raise their brand and their profile and become known in the greater world. The readership of that magazine is only 30% coaches. The majority are managers within organizations. So it's a way that coaches can take their offering to the world, let the world see them. So that's...
Well, I can speak to that is a chocker block full magazine. I mean, you're not short of content in that. That is got, no. If somebody's looking for something, they're going to find it in there. And, you know, I've had the privilege to be a contributing author, I think, in at least 3 of the editions. So thank you for that opportunity. But I just encourage those people that are listening or watching, if you're not subscribed, because I believe the subscription is free, is it not?
It is completely free. We decided to do that model. We pay for managing directors, international editors, sub-editors, media consultants, IT team. So it's a huge investment to be able to support our coaches worldwide. And it's completely free.
And if for those that are listening, I mean, that people just don't do this. And so, Gerard, again, you're giving back to the industry, you're supporting the individuals, you're getting the best of the best contributing as authors, and then giving it back to the industry for free. So, you know, just kudos to you for just continuing to actually walk what you talk as far as giving back into the industry. So, well done.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. We have quite a specialist division called the Alpha Group, and that's aimed at coaches who want to develop their business within what we call the SME, small to medium enterprise world. These are companies that employ something like from 20 people up to 300 people. And we take these men and women and we train them how to work with these organizations, and we give them exclusivity within a town or city around the world. And we have, we call them regional directors, and we have them from Mumbai in India to Houston in Texas to Buenos Aires, Paris, and it's growing very lovely. So we're very thankful.
Yeah, and just to clarify, I mean, many people are watching. This is a business opportunity for people that are listening.
Yes,
where they get business owners together once a month, I believe, is your model. For a facilitated meeting that you train them on. However, is that then from there is additional coaching and support can go into the groups from the facilitators to them. So it's a great way in a business model to build it. There are many other models around the world who have done this in the past, but it's great that you are setting this up in a way that people can have a certain marketplace, you can support them. And, you know, one of the things to just mention to you, Gerard, is that a lot of times people who are moving into business who haven't been business owners, what you've done here is really to have a paint by numbers opportunity. So I follow the roadmap that you have set up to be able to be successful in something like an alpha group. So that really, for anybody listening here, this really alleviates a lot of the pressure and the stress to design your own program, to deploy it, to brand it. People just, until you get into it, you know, as a publishing company, people have no idea how much effort and work you have put into this to be able to create it. It is hundreds and hundreds of hours.
Yes, it is.
So if people are interested, I just encourage them that they would reach out. and you just fast track everything, so you have like a turnkey business. Yes, you have to do the work, but you have set it up so that they can be successful. So that's awesome, Gerard, so that those people who want to kind of go into this space, they don't have to create it right from scratch, because it's way too much work for the average person to do it.
Yes, it is. And it took us, I mean, even employing a team of 4 people full-time and the IT and the managing director, it still took us over 18 months to get this just up and running.
I would see that easily.
Yeah.
And just to encourage people, if you're interested, this is where you could start. And then other coaching will come out of it. And if you're a good facilitator, you will get coaching out of it.
Oh, they will, and they do, and they are. And we have people all around the world that are doing ever so well financially out of it now. So we're so pleased.
Awesome. Now, you said that, did you have something else that you wanted to kind of share with the group as far as another offering that you had or not?
We have a couple just to show. We have our own radio station, which actually launches in 4 weeks, called Coach Radio International. And that allows any one of our coaches and students worldwide to have their own online, internet-based digital radio show. So they can have their own 1-hour show every month. And we're doing it in about 8 different languages. So they can reach a worldwide audience. So that's one thing. A lot of coaches like to write, and they don't know how to get the word out there. So we have a division called eBooks for Coaches. And we will publish completely free of charge. There's no cost in this. We will publish ebooks for all of our coaches worldwide. And if they wish to sell those books, we will sell it for them and they get the money. So we've created a publishing platform. They provide the books. We will market it. We will put it up there. And just as a way of helping them to get out, get their name raised, get their brand raised, and they can sell it, and if they like, earn a little bit of, they probably won't earn an awful lot, Ken, to be honest, from ebooks, but at least they'll earn something from that. Well,
as published authors, both of us, it is something that people need to consider as being published. Ebooks are now more accepted than they were even 10 years ago.
Yes.
But it is important to get your voice out there and the credibility that these pieces of work add to the individual. So help us understand, why would you do this for free? This has cost you money to be able to convert it to ebooks. So what is sort of the underlying motivation for you to want to do this for free?
Well, although it doesn't pay off too much in monetary terms, we do have on the site somewhere, I can't find it now, but somewhere it talks about this is run by Noble Manhattan. There we go, Noble Manhattan Coaching. So by us helping to publish dozens and dozens of different people's ebooks, then it becomes a site that attracts a lot of traffic. And those individuals will market themselves, their ebooks, they will earn money, they will raise their profile, and it helps to raise the brand of Noble Manhattan as well.
Wow, I mean, you just have so much going on. When do you actually sleep? Or if you just avoided sleep completely?
I love what I do. I love it with a passion. And I travel like yourself, as you know, I travel quite a lot. And over the last 8 years now, I have got so many, and I will use the phrase, really good friends now in countries from as far afield as America and Canada, South Africa. I travel to India, Romania, Bulgaria, Hungary, Poland, Turkey. And I just love it. I love now meeting. They're not just friends, they're colleagues, friends, they're part of our organization, part of the greater Noble Manhattan family. And that's what brings joy to your life, isn't it? It's the people. It's not it's not the work that always gives you so much satisfaction. It's the people.
It's the relationships globally. And both of us being in this space for many, many years, for those that are considering thinking about it, it is something that you really do cherish. That in our last training, I mean, people are hugging each other at the very end of it. Same thing happens in yours. But on top of this, Gerard, not only have you done all of this, but you are also the IIC president or outgoing president, are you not?
I am.
I
am. Yes.
So how did you get roped into being the president of the governing body IIC? And all your programs are accredited through them, so you can get your coach certification through IIC, right? And it's
Yeah.
IIC and M now because we want to change it to mentoring.
It is.
Just a brief. I know this is really, we're talking about Noble Manhattan and your alpha groups and ebooks for coaches, but just to what do you want to call it? Synchronize or ground this, is that you're also, you know, giving back in the nonprofit side as far as the IIC group, because everybody there that's on the board is also a volunteer.
They are. The IIC is run by something like 250 different men and women who are all volunteer coaches. They have a small core employed team, IT people, customer care, and so on. They're employed. But all of the leadership teams and the country teams worldwide are run by coaches, and they volunteer. And it's now the second biggest in the world, behind the ICF. They're the biggest. But the IIC&M is now in 102 countries worldwide. And they have a what they call a revolving president. So every couple of years, they vote up the next willing victim to be the worldwide president. And for my six...
And it's amazing. You have, I hear the word victim. Excuse me. You also have, most of your board members are virtual, so you do most of your meetings via Skype or GoToMeeting.
Oh, we do, yes. All of the board meetings are, the board directors are in South Africa, in the Canaries, in France, in India. We have one in Canada, in all over the world, yeah. So we do everything virtually.
So even if they're connected to Global Manhattan, one of the other options is to give back to the industry and connect with IIC and your organization as well.
Most definitely. It's an accreditation organization. It works with many coach training companies, not Noble Manhattan. It accredits courses, and it doesn't matter where you train. You can train to be a coach anywhere, and you can go to them, and they will look at you and assess you and give you a worldwide, world-recognized accreditation.
Well, we've covered a lot of stuff today, Gerard. If we can go back to Global Manhattan, or pardon me, Noble Manhattan. You are global as well, so we'll just change the name for you. You're Noble and Global. What would be some final words you would have to people that are watching and listening to this, just about the work and how you serve coaches and how you serve people who are thinking about coaching? Any sort of final words for us that just to encourage people or to educate them?
Sure. Well, first of all, it's a most incredible industry. And if you love people, if your heart is set on helping people to build and grow and develop, then I would strongly suggest that you look at coaching. However, I would also suggest that you don't jump into bed with the very first coach training company you see. Very important. There's some wonderful companies out there. They're all a little bit different. And I think it's important that people do their due diligence and contact 2, 3, or 4. They're all great people, by the way. They will all be delighted to send you information. They'll send you their brochures. They'll have a cup of coffee online with you and talk to you. And it's a bit like a relationship, Ken. When two people come together, 1 and 1 makes 3. When a boy and girl or husband and wife or two partners come together, your life should be enhanced by the coming together. You should both become more. You shouldn't have to give away anything of yourself. If you, as a student, engage with a coach training company to become a world-class professional coach, it is a relationship. It goes on for quite a while. And there is a chemical connection. And it's very important that you align yourself or engage with a company that honors your own feelings, your own values, and a company that you feel very comfortable with. I think that's a good word. You have to feel comfortable. So my suggestion is look at the industry, but also investigate, do some due diligence, contact 2 or 3 or 4 different companies, and speak to some of the people involved and get a good feeling, not a feeling in your mind here, but in your tummy, in your heart. That's where you can make your decision.
I'm just going to support you in that 100%, Gerard, that if there isn't chemistry or just really a comfortable connection, like just a glove that fits perfectly, then probably that's not the school for you. But what I can say to everybody who's listening and watching this webinar is that, Gerard, you have been incredibly professional, very giving at every level in our interactions. So I can, from a personal perspective, endorse and support Gerard as far as all the work you've done, how you treat people, how you respond to, even when there are little blips along the way in different relationships. I've just found you to be just a stellar individual. I consider you a friend, even though we haven't met personally, though we see each other on Skype periodically, that you're always welcome. The cup of coffee is here in Vancouver for you. So anybody listening and watching, I just want to say that, I've met a lot of people in the coaching industry, and Gerard has to be in the top 10 of people that I have ever met in the industry who give and give back. So, I know it's hard sometimes to say that about yourself, but that is so true about Gerard, Noble Manhattan, and all the things that they do. So I just encourage, if you have any kind of curiosity or interest in coaching or going further, is that you would just connect with them. And how can they, I know you have Noble Manhattan, noble-manhattan.com online there, so they can, how can they connect with you, Gerard, and get further information from you?
I'll give you the email address here. So info@noble-manhattan.com, and that will come straight to our offices, and our team will be delighted to send any information that you would like at all.
Right. And I know with your busy schedule, getting in front of you personally isn't something that happens very often because you're so busy around the world. So you have a great support team that responds to any of these inquiries, of able to get the information to them that they need.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Any final comments or things that you want to say to our listeners today?
Well, no, I don't want to bore them, and I'm just so grateful to have this opportunity to be here in this industry, and to be able to count people like yourself, Ken, as a close colleague and a friend, and to be able to do this, to engage with you across 6,000 miles of the world here, is just wonderful. We are so blessed.
Well, we are blessed. It's again, thank you, Gerard, for being with us today. And sharing with the listeners just really about all that you've brought together. The amount of work that you have done is just phenomenal. From e-books for coaches, to the alpha groups, to setting up the coaching schools, to setting up support for the coaching schools and coaches. That's amazing. So, thanks for being with us. And again, if people are interested, info@noble-manhattan.com or noble-manhattan.com as far as the website. So thanks, Gerard, for being with us today.
My pleasure. And you have a wonderful day, Ken. God bless you.
Yeah, you too.